Hey everybody, Guy here from Chit Chat. Thanks for listening. I just got done recording a really fun podcast with Miss Melinda Tamm. Miss Melinda runs a dance company in St. Cloud Way Park that is going on 20 years. And we got to talk about her time in the last 20 years of running a business and trying to encourage this next generation and youth and provide activity and connection and community. It's all of the kinds of things that I love talking about. And so I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Thanks, everybody. Miss Melinda.
Miss Melinda in the house.
Thanks for coming and joining us on the podcast.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Really appreciate
this has been great.
Should I call you Miss Melinda? Do I call you Melinda?
You can call me Miss Melinda. Melinda. It's interesting because after even starting the business and before that, everyone called me it anyways because I've taught
Called
dance
Miss Melinda
for so long.
Yeah.
And
in
that's
dance
just an
culture,
etiquette.
I was going to say, in
Yeah.
dance culture, is there kind of that etiquette thing of
100%.
Mr. and Mrs.?
Yep, it's Mr. Mrs.
Yeah.
It's almost like, when you go to grade school and you know your teachers by
Yeah.
last name, it's
Yep.
all first name.
Yeah.
Typically, it's because our last names are hard and kids can't remember, so
Yeah.
it's easy to
But
do.
with a little moniker of respect on it too,
Correct.
which I think is really, really fun.
Correct.
I think the South does that so well. It's one of my very favorite things about the South is it's all first names. Like when you're talking to your mom's friend.
Yes.
You're calling her by her first name because you have a sweet little relationship with her.
Yes.
But you are calling her Miss because there's just kind of a sweet respect to it. I think that it's wonderful. My kids, that I instruct my kids to until these are like friends that are over like in our home every single day. They use
It's good.
Mr. and Miss. It's
You
a
know,
good
and it's
thing.
a joke in our household is my husband's not in the dance world.
Okay.
And people will call him Mr. Melinda.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, wait a second here. Time out. I do have a first name. But that's fine. It works.
Okay, so you have been running Miss Melinda's Dance.
Yes.
Is it what?
It is. It's a Miss Melinda's dance studio.
And how many years have you been running?
This is my end of my 19th season, which is crazy to think.
Wow.
So started in 2006 after being engaged for a week.
Okay.
So talk about jumping in
Yeah.
head first with a new relationship. And oh, by the way, I'm starting a business.
Yep.
Very good at the, you start off, everything's fresh and energetic.
Yeah.
And we hit the 2008 pummel in
Yeah.
economy.
Yep.
And we flourished that year.
Really?
And it really showed that people are looking for connectivity and community. And that's what we're providing. So 19 seasons. I'm not old enough to be going into my 20th year.
Right. No.
Of business.
Yeah.
I started very young.
Yeah. That's great.
Yep.
And your spot, is that St. Cloud or is that Way Park?
It's Way Park.
Okay.
We're in that weird triangle of
Yep.
the city. So
it feels like it could be.
could be anywhere.
Yeah.
But we are St. Cloud, or Way Park, I'm sorry. And that used to be the railroad headquarters.
Yeah.
And so it was a super fun spot, and we got to get some grant work when we were building
Yeah.
a little bit to help with that state super fund that was about to expire.
Yeah.
So a very nice place to buy the land and
That's cool.
build.
And what year was that? How long have you been in that location?
8 years. And
Okay.
the only reason I can remember it so fast is I gave birth to my second child a week after hitting ground.
Okay.
So
All right.
here we go.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Let's, put a shovel to the ground and have a
And then
baby.
have a baby.
And do this again. That's how it goes in entrepreneurial
For
life.
sure. There's always something,
100%.
always something. Okay. So there are a good handful of dance and companies, dance company,
there's
dance
companies,
studios.
studios, schools, whatever you want to call them.
What makes Miss Melinda's different?
Core values.
Let's hear 'em.
I live 100% as MMDS. So Miss Melinda's Dance Studios,
Mm-hmm.
actually our acronym also, for making a difference through mentorship, dedication, and self-worth. The biggest difference is my staff follows those with training, and every decision we make has to follow within those. We create our dances based off the students each and every year. So their growth, their loves. Some kids are really passionate about high energy, fun jazzes. Some really like that dark contemporary piece, and we get to create all those things. But a big community.
That's cool.
Also, my staff has to be very involved in the community outside of just dance. So a lot of give back.
That's cool.
As an owner, I sit in a lot of
boards.
Sometimes I'm like, how many boards can I be on? And then
As many as you want.
As many as possible. And that you have time for.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give 100%, don't sit on board.
That's exactly right.
And the other big one is I'm the only Dance Studio Owners Association Inner Circle member. There's only...
What does that mean?
This is a big deal, yeah. So Dance Studio Owners is a worldwide organization. There's over 7,000 normal just members to be in it. There's 350 of us in the inner circle across the world. Then there's 47 of us who sit in mastery. So that means we come together twice a year in person. We also do Zoom calls every week, and we are talking about what's going on in our industry. Not just how to teach a dance step. It's more
Is it any
mental,
of that?
emotional. Yeah, it's all of it.
Okay.
And it's super fun to hear, like, what are we going to do to change, and how are we building communities and relationships, but also the business process.
Yeah.
The arts is a hard process in business.
Yeah.
Like, how do you sell the arts? You know, it's creativity and
Yeah.
imagination.
Yeah. And what age do you have students that start, and then how long do people stay? Are there adults that take classes at Miss Melinda's?
We have very little adults.
Okay.
So that's like a secondary option for people. Sometimes in January, you know, like kick off the new year and we'll do some short things.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, us adults are like, oh, more than 6 weeks? I don't know if I can give that time. So our students start at 18 months.
Oh.
Super fun to see.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them into social environment. We're not looking for the next prima ballerina, social environment. Then they go till they are graduated through high school. A lot of those students we honor every year as 5-year. Probably this year, I think we have 55 5-year students, and we have 20 10-year students. So a lot of them say longevity of between, I'd say 7 is a big point where people choose different sports or activities. Boyfriends come involved, you know, like things like that are going on. And then they stay till like 10, 15. We have a couple who've made it 16 years in it.
Wow.
Which, let's look at it. How many people stay in their own careers for that long?
Oh, yeah. That's not a lot.
It's a lot about the community and the family.
That's cool. And in any given year, how many students and how many families do you get to serve?
Right now, our family count is 350 families,
Cool.
which equals about 750 units of kids. So
that's
some
really
kids
cool.
take, 5 hours a week.
Yep.
Some take 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
It just depends on their engagement of it.
Do you guys, as a part of your business model, you have a big giant space that's geared towards having kids in it. Do you guys do like the birthday party thing or event space in the winter for people to come and like get their wiggles out? Like, do you guys do any of that?
We do pop-up events all the time. So maybe 1 night, 2 hours, encourage the parents, hey, go on a date night. Let us take your kids. This is what we do all night.
Yeah.
So we do those pop-up type of things. Otherwise, birthday parties, we don't typically just because we're so busy.
Yeah.
So Monday through Thursday, we're running 5 classrooms from 3 in the afternoon until 10 at night.
Yeah, wow.
And then Sundays have been a huge one for us.
Is it later,
like
as the later goes in the night, do the ages get older?
Yeah. It's like those littles right after school, around the dinner time.
Yeah.
And then the older kids start coming
Can't
in.
imagine a 9 p.m. start for like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
It'd be tough.
Like those 9:15s, 9 things like that later hours, a lot of especially soloists and smaller group of kids that are on that high school level.
Yeah.
Unique though, we have a lot of kids coming an hour or more into the city.
Oh, really?
So it also brings a lot of economic to our our community. They're coming in, they're going to shopping malls or grocery shopping and then going home.
Yeah.
We serve currently 15 different high schools.
Cool.
And so that is a lot of coordination around prom time and graduation time and, spring breaks. We don't take spring break because of that.
Right.
Just go to your family vacation, come back.
And so if you have all of those high schools that you have some kind of relationship with, how do you navigate, like if they have dance, do they have dance programs in their own schools? And are a lot of your students, I'm guessing primarily female?
Yes, primarily female.
Are they involved in dancing with you or, with your company as well as joining their school's dance
They
teams?
are.
Like, and how does that work? How do they juggle some of those kind of competing timelines and pressures and stuff like that?
Some kids, wonderful. They can do it no problem. They're scheduled out. They prioritize. Others struggle. It's, like with any sport. The nice thing is we do have a lot of dance team girls who do it, but we also have a lot of track, soccer, swimming. Cross country is a huge one. Huge amount of kids in cross country and track.
Interesting.
It's balancing and how can they do it. Now, high school sports are supposed to end at 6 o'clock for practices.
Right.
So those older kids start at 6:15.
Sure.
You're a little late. You're already warmed up.
Yeah.
You're cardio ready. Sometimes it does get complicated, and it's a good lesson for life. They go to college,
Juggling.
and how do you balance this?
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
they also see, like, as adults, a lot of my teachers have full-time jobs. They come straight from their one other position to a teaching position, and they have kids, and like, this is normal life.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to have like, oh, I have 2 hours of free time.
Yeah. That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. But they do really well. And most of the kids on those levels that are high energy in a lot of things, their GPAs are higher.
Yeah.
I mean, this year's GPA average, because we always calculate that, we're sitting at a 4.2. I mean, these kids are excelling inside those classrooms. And then they're volunteering and they're doing things. So it's really a fun embedment of how creativity can help flourish other aspects of their life.
That's cool. I sat on the board for years for the Youth Chorale of Central Minnesota.
Yes.
And that was in a similar kind of way. This is an extracurricular activity outside of, the school environment where we want kids to give their energy and their time and their effort. But really the best way to move forward with that is to also really support what they're doing in their high school choirs. These kids don't show up to sing. And again, maybe this is different with this particular side of the arts. I don't know. But there are no kids to show up in high school choir.
Yep.
In a high school choir program that's that meets on Sunday nights if there aren't really rich and really vibrant school programs.
Yes.
And so our position as the Youth Chorale of Central Minnesota is like, how do we really support these choir teachers and these conductors in their programs so that their kids feel really comfortable to keep coming and giving us their Sunday nights too.
It is true, and like that collaboration between the two is so important. With the school programs, a lot of them cutting back in the arts, it's a little scary because we're eliminating a lot of thought process for children to even expose that. In the dance industry of itself, I think there could always be more collaboration in it. Not so much what team is better or where they're training, those types of things, but really coming together. Because at the end of the day, they're all doing the same thing.
Sure.
With studio dance, you're training them most of the time so that they can do those things in high school. Those kids don't typically wake up in 7th grade and go, I think I'm going to try dance for change. Right. So that collaboration is so important too.
Story is the driving force for us here at Switchboard. Story is also the reason that Chit Chat exists. We tell stories of the people around us through photos, videos, branding, and websites. Story helps us find meaning, and it draws a community together, and we would love to help tell your story. You can find us at www.switchboard.mn. We would love to meet you. We'd love to talk with you and learn more about the story that you are trying to tell and how our story-driven marketing tools can help you communicate better. Can't wait to talk to you soon. What has been one of the most surprising things in your nearly 20 years of running this business? What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about the dance industry? What have you learned about our community? What's been surprising to you in this nearly 2-decade journey?
I ask this question all the time because every year something new it stumps me. You're like, whoa, didn't see that
Where did
coming.
that come from?
Wow. I think right now it's just how the culture is getting back to we want community and we want relationships. The surprise behind it is we want, but at the same time we expect a certain level of something else. And it's a lot of even fostering around like awards. My belief and the staff belief is if kids are really enjoying what they're doing and they have someone who supports them and encourages them, they'll always flourish.
Yeah.
Yet there's an outside thing. Let me knock that over. An outside benefit of things of awards, like who's winning, who's the best. You become the best when you're passionate with it.
Yeah.
So that's been a surprise, just watching that change. I sort of blame our generation because we sort of invented the participation ribbon, So.
Did we, or did our parents though?
Or did our parents? That could be, that's a great question.
Because I just was handed them. I didn't invent it.
That's true, right? So we have a coach on a side note for my son, and oh my gosh, this coach looks familiar. We couldn't figure it out. Maybe our kids played a different thing. And he goes, hey, I remember you guys. You're the one who wanted to give back a participation trophy for my son who played t-ball. I'm like, yeah, he didn't play. I was the one participating by bringing him. You should not get this trophy. But I do think that's a little bit of our culture is like we have to get away from how many awards. They're great. They're wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I like being honored too. But it gives them more of a foster. So that's been a surprise over the years.
Yeah.
I think also the popularity around dance. Like, even 15 years ago, even before I started, it was maybe at that time was So You Think You Can Dance came out.
I was going to ask, is it influenced by popular movies?
Big time.
Yeah.
And I think of all the movies that are coming out, musicals that are so much bigger now and exciting and maybe not so hush hush. Like it used to be sort of like, oh, you like musicals? Now it's like, wow, did you see?
Yeah.
Look at all of our popular artists out right now touring. They have huge production shows and
Yeah,
that has just grown.
you can't really just walk out on stage with a guitar. There's so few that can just walk out with like just a guitar and sing.
Yep.
There's got to be kind of a spectacle to it.
And the lights and everything behind it. So
Yeah.
it's more of an artistic
Yeah.
direction.
I like what you said about the awards. In our little world, we, you know, in the advertising world, there's competitions and stuff to win awards, and there's one side of it that's nice to do that. It's fun for the clients that we work for to be able to like win an award and like give it to them, and you know, like the work that we did
Yes.
together, we got to go and do this. There is that thing that's kind of fun about it. I just think that sometimes so this is my side of the table, in the ad world, sometimes you can make too much of it. They don't give an award for my client feels like their needs were heard
Correct.
and that a piece was made that helped them solve a problem. Like they don't have that award. And so I would apply for, or we would try to win all of those. But when these awards come, right, that feel a little bit just like self-congratulatory, which again, it's what it is. Any sort of like industry kind of thing, it's a bit of what that is. But so we participate and we do that. But upstairs we have a gold garbage can, and so and again, they're in one aspect. I want to be careful as I say this. In one aspect, in one regard, they're garbage because again, they don't have the actual award that we're trying to win is this like award of like we really met the needs of our clients. So that's what we're pursuing every day. And until that's like an actual little trophy, you know, like we're gonna keep doing that one. But when we win these other ones, it's not worth a ton, but it's worth something. And so we have this garbage can that we spray painted gold. And so they all go in that garbage. And again, it's just like, it's a way that we like to think about it. There's some value in it, but remember, and seriously, every time as we do this, like not little ceremony, but you know, we open the lid together and like at the team and we put them in there together. It's just a way for us to remember this is not ultimate. Other industry professionals thinking that your thing is really, really good. It can't be the goal. There has to be something.
There has to be bigger.
There has to be something bigger. There has to be something more, and it has to be about serving the needs of your clients. And so, it's just our little way of just remembering that. Like, just remember what we want to focus on. Remember what we're trying to do.
I love that. You know, it's such a big aspect of it. So we have this recreational program where kids come in and they have fun, and some kids don't ever want to compete.
Sure.
I just want to be here, learn a lot, and we have some kids who go more hours than our competitive kids because they just. They love it.
Yeah.
And then we have competitive kids, and they are trying to win. They want to be in the top 5. I would bet, though, if I asked any of them how they did at a competition a month ago,
Can't remember.
they could not remember if they took first or fifth. Like, not a clue. So it is something that's maybe an appeal. Like, we win these awards, but at the end of the day, they're remembering what happened behind the scenes that was funny, or a malfunction of something that went on, or, oh my gosh, I tripped on stage, but I got back up. You know, they're remembering those things. And then as a leader, you know, like I've been awarded best of or the best studio in the organization. I made the Hall of Fame this year.
That's cool.
And it was one of those, it's cool.
Yeah.
But then I got done, I was like, I didn't go out for that. It just happened because I put so much work in, and my teams put in so much work. And so now the team even's like, it's sort of fun that we were in it, yet no one's talked about it because it was like, yay, fun, shiny. Okay, move on. We got to keep growing. And how do we audit ourselves to be better?
Yeah.
And so it's like an internal recognition too.
Yeah. When you say like for competing, are there competitions inside of a dance company? Like, are the girls competing against each other inside of your company, or is your company, again, I don't know anything about dance, or is your company competing against other companies and other individuals from other places?
So it's all against others from
Okay.
other studios across the country and states. So in the dance competitive world of like business studio settings, you're competing against other studios across the state or the 5-state region. We also get a lot of people from Iceland in ours, Iceland Air.
Huh.
You know, it's a nice flight down from Minneapolis, but it's mostly around the metro area, Iowa, Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota coming in. And then World of Dance, we're doing next summer.
What is World of Dance?
World of Dance Championships, you're bid out through showing like you have all different arrangements of style. They bid you to come and perform and compete in Walt Disney World. And then you're up against other studios across the world. So I know Dubai is going to be there.
Wow.
And we haven't heard all the other countries that are going to be represented. It's going to be a great experience for the kids.
And what month is that?
July.
Of this year?
Of next year.
Okay.
So July of 26.
Orlando in July.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice and warm. But it's something fun. Do you think I'll do this every year? No. This is going to be something we got bid out. If we would get bid again, we might say, hey, let's look at something else as an opportunity. It gives those kids a chance to try something and be a part of something and see all the other cool things that are out there outside of central Minnesota.
That's cool. Okay, so 19 years. What's coming next? Do you have, as an entrepreneur and someone that is trying to grow and trying to think creatively about how to meet needs in our community, like, what do you think is next for you in your business?
It's so interesting you ask that because every day I'm like, what else can I create? We're looking at a next program outside of the high school levels. Like, what else can we provide? More training sessions. I would like to, as a studio owner, help more students and studios to really flourish. There's so many kids. Like, how can we foster them? Yeah. And there's ways to do it in business and not just the creative aspects of it. We added aerial silks this year, so that was our new one. It is something growing, but now we have it in the studio for the kids to learn. So that's a new one. But also having that building is so nice because there's so many opportunities that we can get into daytime programming. I have an incredible management staff that they're like, what else should we do? Where else can we go? How can we get kids performing in other events? Like, we've performed at Holly-Ball. Is there other organizations that are looking for performers? So it's always just generating new. I love writing curriculum, so I'm always writing curriculum.
And when you say writing curriculum, is that synonymous for designing dances?
No, for actual skill sets. Like, how do you learn them and then balance out the injury prevention side of it and growth? Body structure has changed in the last 10 years. Yeah. Hips and knees and joints are all sort of growing at a different rate than they used to and developing and coming together. So reissuing all those types of things to keep it safe on a healthy body.
Fascinating.
The dancer, like really professional dancers go till about 24, 25, and then that's your sort of the end of their game. A lot of kids right after college, they'll go on. So how can we get some more longevity for these performers?
Did you dance as a child?
I did. I danced for a long time. I came from parents who said, hey, you want to work hard, you have to do some things and do extra training in the summertime and went to camps. I went to college and went, I think I'm done dancing. I taught a little bit during that time. And then on a dare, my guy friend said, try out for Vikings. And so I tried out for the Minnesota Vikings and ended up on their team for 2 seasons. Yeah. And as it was it was a last minute, like, okay, I'll go down there and see.
Really?
So I tried out.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was really fun. I did that for 2 years ago, 2001 season. Just had a blast.
Yeah. And do you travel with the team, or is it just when you're home?
Home games.
Okay.
We travel, but that was more like community things.
Okay, yeah.
Habitat for Humanity, or going to naval bases or army bases for performances and appearances and things like that. And then I got into the choreography aspect of the NFL. And it just came out of luck. Someone saw a dance that I helped create, and they're like, who did it? Name got out. Next thing I know, I'm out in different states doing choreography. And then that came down, and I met my husband and was like, you fall in love and your priorities change a little bit.
For sure.
And 5 months of dating, engagement, and started the studio. So it was just sort of a whirlwind. Yeah. But I always have had a passion. I also, as a choreographer, which is, you see this probably as telling stories and things, when I hear music, I see shapes and colors and textures. So some people can just get the feeling of it. Like you're sitting in your car and you hear a song and maybe you feel shivers or tears or joy, you want to dance. I see colors and shapes and textures, and that's how I can create moving pieces of a story.
Interesting.
And that's a rare thing to find.
And do you do all the choreography for? No,
not anymore. Okay. Over the last 5 years, I've stepped back a lot and let the other teachers. That's cool. But a lot of collaboration. I'm sitting in classrooms saying, okay, I love what you're doing. Let's mold this a little bit more. Yeah. We need to inspire the next generation of people to create for us.
It's really, really cool.
Really fun. My son, who's 10, he's really into it right now.
Oh, yeah?
He's constantly asking, like, hey, if you did this move and this move, would this flow together? And so he might have that same
That's kind of fun.
aspect,
Yeah.
which is really fun to see him grow in it.
And you have 2 kiddos?
I have two boys.
And
I thought it was a bad joke that was played on. It is, okay, thanks, God. Two boys, but they both aunts, so.
could you see, or, either or both of your boys following and being involved in the family biz?
My oldest has mentioned, like, I think I could do this one day, but he also wants to be an NBA player. So,
Yeah.
let's see where the 10-year-old dream. He's almost
Yeah.
11. My 8-year-old he would just rather tell me what's going on in every corner and
Sure.
how to clean up something. Like, hey, did you know that we could freshen up this plant over here? So he sees those details. I would love that, but also seeing family business. My grandpa had a family business with my aunt, and there's a lot of longevity and a lot of things you give up. So you have to be able to balance that.
For sure.
Too.
My daughter, Lucy, who is 10, her career path, she's going to go to the Olympics first for gymnastics.
Yes.
And then afterwards, she's going to be on Broadway.
See, that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it fun to hear what they
There's a little more, just the timing of it. Like you can be on Broadway longer.
Yep.
And so you don't do that first.
Yep, you have to do gymnastics first, then Broadway.
Go be the next Simone Biles, which is her thought. And then you get to be the next Cynthia Erivo.
I just love when they
Broadway.
change to and tell you, like, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is why. And the logic behind it is always so fun.
Yeah. Great, babe.
Great. Sounds great.
Let's see it. Let's have some fun.
I always think I have one student who just stands in my head all the time. She ended up being in my wedding, too, just because there was a connection. She, at a young age, like 6, said, I am going to be a dolphin trainer. I'm going to be a dolphin trainer. And she stuck with that. And she is a dolphin trainer.
Really?
So whenever I see her
That's kinda
things
fun.
on Instagram, I'm like, dang, girl, you knew your dream.
Yeah.
You went for it. That's our big motto is dreams begin with a dance. It's not the dance. It's
cool.
support you.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to see alumni come back and grow. All the weddings you go to, like, these
I bet
little
you go to a
kids.
lot of weddings.
You go to a lot of weddings, a lot of baby showers.
Yeah.
It's fun to see in that relationship. You see them at 4,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden their senior year, they're writing you a card of how, like, something you said one day really made a difference. And then you see them at a wedding or their kids are coming back, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, the second generation thing. I bet you that's interesting.
It started a few years ago.
Yeah.
Being that I taught longer than I owned the studio, I had students already at that point.
Yeah.
So we've had now second tier, and now this year we have someone who is a grandma who I taught.
Wow.
So now it's the third. I'm like, this is weird.
Some
but
longevity in a
super
community,
fun.
though. It's really cool.
And I'm very fortunate. Some people say, is it a blessing or not to have family in business with you? My brother-in-law helps run the daily operations,
Really?
and it is amazing. And it's just
Is this
been
a
great.
sister's husband?
Correct.
Or
Sister's husband, and just amazing.
Yeah.
So good with clients. He able to work off ideas with each other.
Cool.
There's that trust factor all the time. I have a niece who works part-time for me.
It's really cool.
Mother's retired and is helping with, the store buying and the retail side of things. And there's more to it than just the dance.
I worked for my uncle for a couple of years, and I loved it. I mean, I love, love him. And so I loved working inside, his family business. And even though it was just a couple of years, there was something really sweet about it.
It's fun, and it's special, and it's good that we can also take off that hat at Christmas or wherever, and you're like, okay, we're not talking shop, but it's just such a great experience to have.
Yeah.
A lot of alumni who come back and teach,
That's really cool.
which is really fun.
Well, sweet. Miss Melinda, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey, thank you.
It's just fun hearing stories of people who hang a shingle and do something really, really cool for our community. We close every podcast with an unpaid ad. Do you have someone, something, or some idea that you think deserves a little plug today?
I think the big plug right now is the end of school year. We need to recognize our teachers who have been putting time into our kids at school. They're with our kids 5 days a week, 8 hours. So I think the teachers deserve kudos right now. They got it. I know a few people have a few more weeks, and they're feeling the stress too, but what they do is an important thing for our kids.
That's great.
So definitely all the teachers and coaches.
So then mine will be for my wife who stays home and teaches our kids.
Yeah.
You're the best, babe.
100%, right? That's awesome.
Sweet.
Guy, this is amazing. Thank
Really,
you so
really fun.
much for
Nice to
having
meet
me.
you. Nice to spend some time, learn a little bit more. And I'll have to swing by sometime.
Yeah, stop by, see.
fun
We're
to see
there
it.
all the time.
Cool.
Nice and quiet during the day and full of incredible
Yeah, I'm
energy
sure.
at night.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. Well, sweet. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you.